And so tonight we're going to be talking about sleep and how CBD may assist with that. So what is sleep? You know, sleep is a really dynamic um, activity. I remember, you know, back in the 60s when I was a little girl, and Gail can attest to this, I used to always look at two extremes. Like my mom would come home, she was in education, and she would come home from teaching all day and take a nap. Whereas my dad was absolutely, I got this genetically, was just like a energizing bunny, right? He was always working and always moving. But sleep is really, 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 really important. I mean, we have learned in the last 70 years, a lot more than we knew back 70 years ago, how important sleep is. So sleep is not just a passive activity or just for lazy people. Like sleep is imperative, and we're going to talk about how important it is. The sleep cycle is in 5 stages. Stage 1 is that first 5 to 10 minutes when you feel drowsy. Stage 2 is that light sleep. It doesn't last long. Stage 3 is you're starting to get in that moderate sleep. Stage 4 is that deep sleep. And of course, stage 5 is what we all long for, right? That REM sleep. That's the stage where we have dreams. But they said about 50% of the time for adults as well as children is really spent in stage 2. Now, this cycle repeats itself all over again from stage 1 to stage 5 and repeats itself. So let's talk about how necessary sleep is. You know, this study couldn't be done on humans, otherwise it wouldn't be a very ethical study. But what they did is that they looked at rats, right? And rats normally live 2 to 3 years. But if you deprive a rat of REM sleep, they'll only survive 5 weeks. That's scary, right? If you deprive a rat of all sleep stages, stages 1 through 5, that rat will only live for 3 weeks. They also noted in this study that rats, when you deprive them of sleep, they have abnormally low blood temperature and they had sores all over their body, all over their tails and all over their paws. And what they found out is that when you deprive animals of sleep as well as humans, it really messes with our immune system. I mean, that's when your immune system resets itself, right? It's at night when we're sleeping. So this study, again, really emphasizes the fact that if you are sleep deprived, if over years and years and years you have sleep deprivation, it can cause premature death. And that's why I never ever thought, when I thought about it, I never ever thought that being a resident, being a medical student, being an attending physician in medicine, that it was normal that we didn't sleep. I mean, in residency, it was constant. I mean, it was just never ending. You didn't go home until you were told to go home. So now there are new laws in place for medical students and residents. You can't work more than 12 hours and you are forced to go home and go to sleep. So this again just reemphasizes the fact that sleep is imperative. Now, there's a lot of people that I meet, and maybe you meet, and maybe you're one of them, that say, you know, I don't have any problem sleeping. I sleep just fine. But are you getting quality sleep? You know, quantity and quality are two different things. In fact, millions suffer from sleeplessness every night. And what keeps us up? Stress, anxiety. We're stressed out about money. We're stressed out and anxious about relationships. We can't fall asleep. We're stressed out about this global pandemic. We're stressed out about all of the violence. If you live in Chicago, all of the violence that we see each and every day. We're stressed out about so many things. And then add on pain. Let's say you are a person that suffers from pain due to arthritis, or pain maybe due to an old injury, or maybe you have sciatica or neuropathy, or maybe you've had some sort of accident in the past that has caused chronic pain. Well, that can keep you up all night too, tossing and turning, being very uncomfortable because you're in pain. So inevitably, we have issues that not sleeping enough or not getting enough quality sleep will lead to either worsening of conditions that we have inevitably, or worsening of chronic health problems. So getting quality sleep is really important. That REM sleep, getting in those stages that give you quality. So again, what happens when you don't get enough sleep? I see it each and every day, right? In medicine, we see high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, obesity. Your weight actually depends on, if you're trying to lose weight, it depends on you sleeping at night. Depression, impairment of immunity, and lower sex drive. So all of these conditions can happen as a side effect if you don't get enough quality sleep at night. And so when we look at the part of the brain that's really responsible for helping us sleep at night, that's called that pineal gland. It's a really tiny little gland in the base of the brain here that produces a hormone called melatonin. And many of you've heard of melatonin, you've taken melatonin, but we know that after the age of 40, our melatonin levels just, they bottom out, right? We also know that this is a hormone that helps regulate our circadian rhythm, our sleep-wake cycles, and it also increases more melatonin when it's dark. You know, that's why they always say you want a good night's rest, you need to turn all the lights off. You need to turn your phone off. You need to turn any electronics off. You need not to have your TV running. You need complete darkness. So the pineal gland is really important in regulating and secreting melatonin. So what do we do and offer you if you come to the physician and you complain of insomnia, you're stressed out, you're anxious, you can't sleep because you have pain? We give you a prescription. Many times the prescription is for a sleeping pill. And I think you've seen the commercials out there, right? Lunesta or Ambien. There's some other non-prescription or over-the-counter sleep aids called Unison. There's even Benadryl. How many people have taken Benadryl, over-the-counter antihistamine, to make them feel sleepy, right? And then there's antidepressants. We may prescribe Elavil for you to help you sleep. So there are foods that you absolutely want to avoid before going to bed. Many of us will get home late and want to eat some fatty foods. Would not recommend that. You want to stop drinking caffeine after a certain hour. I stopped drinking caffeine by 3 o'clock, because if you do that close to your bedtime, that will keep you up as well. Spicy foods. Spicy foods can lead to indigestion, which can keep you up all night. Sugary foods gives you that rebound, right? And then alcohol. How many of you out there like those nightcaps, right? You drink some alcohol, some wine, whatever your choice is, because you want to get a good night's rest. Well, drinking alcohol, drinking anything that has alcohol in it, or drinking a nightcap for insomnia is not a good thing. And the reason being is that alcohol before you go to bed causes an increase in this chemical called GABA. And GABA can lead to levels of glutamate. Now, the great thing about drinking alcohol as a nightcap is that first stage, that stage where it helps you fall asleep, well, alcohol will absolutely help you fall asleep faster. But what happens when that GABA or glutamate is metabolized and it is now in a very low level after you've had your nightcap, what it does is a rebound, and it rebounds where it keeps you up all night. You have these interruptions in the sleep cycle. You have restlessness. So yes, a nightcap will help you fall asleep very fast, but the rebound is really nasty and causes a rebound in restlessness and wake cycles where you're up in the middle of the night, you're having to use the bathroom, and it's just not a nice thing to do, right? So the next time you want a nightcap for sleep, try this one. This is probably one of the best nightcaps ever that will give you a great good night's rest. A little humor. So I want you to put in the chat how many hours you sleep a night. I just want to see how many people keep track of it and how many people are conscious about their sleep. We're going to move on to, as you're putting that in the chat, we're going to move on to our products, because our products here at Wakanna are products that you can use for insomnia, products that you can use for a lot of the reasons people have a disruption in their circadian rhythm. You can have a disruption in your circadian rhythm because you travel. You can have something called jet lag. Or you can be someone like me that sometimes I'm asked to work nights, sometimes I'm asked to work days. So my schedule is everywhere, right? So my circadian rhythm is really broken up a lot. And then there's medications. Again, there's food. There's different reasons that your circadian rhythm is disrupted. But CBD helps to keep that circadian rhythm, despite all of those things that could be going on, in balance or homeostasis. So we're going to talk about some of our products. Again, a disclaimer that our products are not used to make any claims. So we can't make claims that these products would cure. We can't make any diagnosis. Why? Because the FDA has not approved CBD. And so it's always good to consult with your physician. If you're on any medication, if you're under a doctor's care, always consult with your physician. Let them know that you want to use CBD. You've heard a lot of great information on how it helps with insomnia. So cannabis is the family that the two species in which CBD can be sourced from. So one species is marijuana, the other one is hemp. And yes, CBD can be sourced from and come from marijuana, and it can also come from hemp. The difference, though, is that the CBD that we're speaking about tonight in our products, the CBD is sourced from hemp, which is a species that has very trace amounts or little amount of THC. That is the cannabinoid or the compound that many of us have heard of that gives you the high. And it has large amounts of CBD that gives you more of the health benefits without the high. So hemp is a large percentage of CBD and trace amounts of THC, whereas marijuana is the reverse. Marijuana gets you high because it has high levels of THC and very small amounts of CBD. So when we look at CBD, we look at the other cannabinoids or compounds that the plant makes, we see that CBD has many, many health benefits that we want to look for when we think about insomnia, when we think about folks that can't sleep, when we think about people who can't sleep because they're stressed out, when we think about people who can't sleep because they're having pain, they're having discomfort. Yeah, well, CBD addresses all of that. CBD is an anti-inflammatory. It is an analgesic, so it helps reduce pain. It also helps to relax the mind. It's anxiolytic. It also helps for us to sleep and get into that REM sleep because it helps to work on the receptors that we're going to look at very closely in the brain that regulate our sleep-wake cycles. It also is tranquilizing. So CBD is sedating, it's calming. It's really going to help us, no matter why you may be having insomnia, to address those issues. And then there's other cannabinoids that address the same issues, like CBG, aids in sleep. CBC, Delta 8, Delta 9, THC. They all work synergistically together to really put our body in balance, or what we call homeostasis. And it does it through science. So when we talk about CBD and we talk about how it can really affect in a very positive manner people who cannot sleep and people who have issues with insomnia, people who have issues with sleep apnea, people who have issues with their circadian rhythm being disrupted. It is the endocannabinoid system. That is the science behind how CBD and the other cannabinoids work in our body. This system is a very vital regulatory system that regulates and modulates a lot of physiological processes, from appetite, digestion, metabolism, to inflammation and pain, to the immune function, to stress regulation, mood, and even sleep-wake cycles. So again, we all have an internal clock, and that internal clock is called our circadian rhythm. And we want to keep this circadian rhythm, this sleep-wake cycle, in balance. We want to keep it in homeostasis, because what we know from the studies, from the rats, you deprive rats from sleep, and what happens? They don't live 2 to 3 years. They only live 3 to 5 weeks. The same thing happens in humans. You deprive humans of quality sleep, and over time, they can develop chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, stroke, immune conditions like fibromyalgia, lupus. They can start to develop depression, obesity. You can't lose weight because you are not sleeping and getting that restorative sleep, where those other hormones called ghrelin and leptin, they're able to help with appetite suppression and appetite control. So our circadian rhythm is controlled by the endocannabinoid system. And these are the receptors, the main receptors that are looking for CBD. They're looking for what this plant can make, are CB1 and CB2 receptors. These receptors are found in the brain, they're found in the central nervous system, they're found in areas in our immune system, in the periphery, they're found in areas where we need to put our body back in balance so that we can sleep. We even have receptors that CBD is able to attach to release neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These are very important neurotransmitters that affect our mood, that affect depression, that affect sleep, that affect so many conditions that can cause depression and anxiety. So that's how CBD works in the body. We have some really, really amazing products. Our products are tested. Our products come with certificates of analysis so that you can see that our products are free from harmful components like mold, mildew, heavy metals. They have no place in organic grown CBD products. And it's important that you see that, right? Not all companies will produce certificates of analysis on their products. So our tinctures are products that are very good for insomnia. Why? Because we talk about insomnia being a chronic condition, right? And we want to make sure that that CBD is in our bloodstream throughout the entire day so that it can work on releasing or reducing inflammation. It can work on getting those receptor sites in the brain in balance. So tinctures are taken twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. 3 drops twice a day is what we recommend for our tinctures. We have full spectrum products that give you the full plant or the whole plant and containing the legal limit of THC, 0.3% or less. Those are our products in the black label, the power products. And then we have products for those who may have random drug screens, right? If you are in the healthcare profession, maybe you may be a teacher, police officer, there's certain areas and industries that are doing random drug screens. So we have a product for you. That's our pure or our broad spectrum product. These are the products in the white labels. They contain less than 0.0% or less of THC, and you will be able to use them if you're having issues with insomnia, if you're having issues that cause you to not be able to sleep, like anxiety, like pain, like depression, all of these uncertainties that are racing through our mind at night. We also have a product that is water soluble. What that means is that it's a product that you can put in liquid. You can put in your juice, your smoothie, your water. You can even put it in your food, you know, your oatmeal. If you're on the go and you want to get in and get out of the house, we have products that you can use as well. Our products have a proprietary formulation, a very unique formulation, only unique to Wakanna products. Our Power Hempranium 500 milligram is one of those products. We have enhanced the CBD with peppermint, turmeric, and black seed. These are essential oils that enhance not only the anti-inflammatory properties of CBD, the antioxidative properties, but also they are very, very important in addressing digestion and addressing kidney function, liver function. You know, black seed is one of those essential oils that do that and more. So that is our proprietary formula on our Hempranium 500 milligrams. And then our carrier oil, we use MCT as our carrier oil. Our carrier oil provides additional medicinal benefits, improving cognition, better weight management, or more energy, helping to contain those antioxidants that address free radicals in our body. So you can see the synergy even of the carrier oil that's assisting and helping to get the CBD into the bloodstream has medicinal properties as well. Our Power Water Soluble, again, is a great product to infuse in your water, your juice. Our Power Culinary product is a product that you can bake with, you can cook with, and get the same medicinal benefits in your food. The only thing that you want to remember when you're baking and cooking with our culinary product is that you don't bake or cook anything higher than 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Otherwise, you'll burn off all the great properties and you may have a bitter taste. So you don't want to do that, but this is a great, great product to bake and cook with. Our Pure, again, is a tincture that gives you the ability to use if you have a urine drug screen at your job. So, you know, a lot of people will ask, well, if I take this tincture and these other products that I'm going to talk to you about, well, how fast will it work for my insomnia? Honestly, it depends on so many factors. I know when I first started using CBD back in 2017, the very first thing that I noticed was my sleep. The very first time that I put a CBD tincture underneath my tongue, I slept like a baby. So it depends on the concentration of the oil, depends on your weight, it depends on the severity of the condition, it depends on your diet, and it depends on the tolerance that you have to CBD. So the Mayo Clinic has given some instructions for sleep disorders. You know, for sleep disorders, they recommend between 40 and as high as 160 milligrams of CBD for sleep disorders. And you'll see that when you layer our products, when you're using the tinctures, and we're going to go into the gummies and the spices and all of our other products, absolutely you can get the relief that you're looking for when it relates to a sleep disorder. There's other ways that you can dose the product by your weight and severity, but I honestly recommend you keep it simple. 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening as it relates to the tincture. Our smokables are a great way to get CBD into your bloodstream quickly. Within 1 to 5 minutes, you're needing to get really some relief. You're tussling back and forth in your bed. 1 to 3 pulls on that vape cartridge or on that pre-roll, or maybe you like to roll your own flower, will really help you get that sleep. Again, we have a proprietary formula, even on our vape cartridges. We've infused them, again, enhancing the benefits of CBD with turmeric, with our MCT coconut oil, using, again, black seed, all of these amazing essential oils to really give that body back into balance. We have raspberry jane. We have our flight, our Delta 8, which is a new kid on the block. If you are a THC connoisseur, you'll really love Delta 8 because Delta 8 is a cousin of Delta 9. But again, these vape cartridges will work within 1 to 5 minutes. Now, a little disclaimer about Delta 8. Delta 8 is truly a cannabinoid that is going to give you a little bit more potency than CBD. So if you are sensitive to THC, Delta 8, you want to take it slow with Delta 8 when it comes to the gummies as well as the vape cartridges. You know, start with 1 pull on that vape cartridge, start with 1/4 of a gummy when you're dealing with those gummies. And again, those benefits of vape cartridges, it really increases the bioavailability of CBD in the bloodstream. So you're really getting that CBD quickly, faster, and it's more available for use. When we talk about vape cartridges, just know that the FDA in 2019 had to pull a lot of those e-cigarettes off the market. Why? Because they found that these products had nicotine, they had pesticides, opioids, rat poison. Our products here at Wakanna don't have any of those harmful fillers. They also found that those vape cartridges had something called vitamin E, right? Instead of using a carrier oil, these companies put vitamin E in their vape cartridge, and vitamin E is toxic. When you heat up vitamin E, it will do a lot of damage to the lungs. So that is just, if you have a question about our vapes do not contain any of those harmful, toxic chemicals. Now, our edibles, again, we have coffee, we have tea, we have gummies. We have something for everyone when it comes to edibles. We have spices. We have butters, that is vegan butters. Just know that, again, you can use and consume CBD in all of these different ways very safely. And then we cannot leave without talking about topicals. Why? Because many people are having issues sleeping because they're in pain. It's hard to sleep when you're in pain. I know it. I was healing a heel spur. I was working with a shoulder, and I'm telling you, these products have been amazing for me. What I personally do at night is I use our Power Pain Relief Cream at night. I rub it on any areas that may cause some discomfort. And then I use the Dr. Rita's rub during the day. I love the Dr. Rita's rub because it's in a roller ball, and during the day, you don't have to worry about washing your hands with the cream. So I use the cream at night. I use the Dr. Rita's rub during the day. Gives really great local relief for those achy, sore muscles. And then we talk about the fact that insomnia, sleep deprivation can mess with your sex life. So we have a whole array of products that address enhancement. Our Cherry Bliss CBD Lube is a great product to use to help to get you in the mood, to help you to relieve anxiety, relieve stress, and to also relieve vaginal dryness. These are our spices, our vegan butter, all infused with CBD, just great ways to get relief. Now, the insomnia package that I recommend includes these products. If you are dealing with sleep deprivation, sleep disorders, insomnia, sleep apnea, our gummies are a must. Our topicals are a must, and our tinctures are a must. So what I really love about our company is that for Father's Day, there's a whole package that has all the products that we talk about that you need for insomnia. Imagine that. So it has your gummies, it has your tinctures, it has your topical Dr. Rita's rub, and your smokable. This retails at $195.75. And for Father's Day, it's $119.95. So not only is this good for fathers, but if you are on the line and you love what you just heard, you can get a package with a savings with this Father's Day package. It will address those who have issues with insomnia, those who have issues with sleep apnea, those who have issues with sleep deprivation due to pain, anxiety, depression. It's all here for you. So I'm going to open it up for questions. I do know that Dr. Crawford is on, and I'm just going to have her unmute before we take questions because labor and delivery is calling me. So I'm going to let her take over while I answer their call.
Hi, Dr. Rita.
Thank you, Dr. Crawford. If you want to add anything and start taking some questions about sleep, just put your questions in the chat.
I think only things that I wanted to add is that you were, Dr. Rita had mentioned about the amount of sleep, and on average, adults should get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Children, usually, depending on if they're toddlers and preteens, they truly should be getting around the average of 10. And as we get older, probably later around 60, maybe about 6 hours to 8 hours is considered, adequate amount of sleep. And you just want to remember you need all those hours because your body is trying to recover and try to build. And so earlier in our life, we are doing a lot of developing our brains and our bodies. And that's why we are, need to sleep, that longer period of time. Let me see here. So there's a question about, are all the products available in pure formation? So the topicals have the THC in it, but the THC does not cross the blood-brain barrier. So therefore you wouldn't have that THC in your system if you are concerned about drug testing. And the majority of the tinctures do have a pure, except for I believe the King of the Jungle and the Delta 8 is not a pure version.
What was the question about pure? So yeah, they could use the pure tincture, they can use the pure gummies.
They were
And
saying are all the
absolutely,
products available in pure formation, and no, the cooking, the seasonings have some CBD in it. So, but we have a wide variety of products that just only have the pure. It was in the Q&A
oh,
section.
I see. Are all the products available in the pure formulation? So yeah, we have only our pure tincture, our pure gummies are the only pure products. And then the topicals are products that, like Dr. Crawford stated, can be used if you have random drug screens at your job. So yes, we will be able to help you with that with our pure products that we do have in formulation.
And there's a question, sleep aid products does not form an addiction, does it? You will be able to stop at any time. So it all depends on which sleep aids that you're referring to. But the CBD does not form any addiction. So I'm not quite sure exactly what sleep aids. All prescriptions have their own specific side effects, but when we're talking about addiction, that's something different. So if you can clarify that question. Well, the question is, what causes a person to fall asleep at different times of the day earlier? For clarifications, as Dr. Rita mentioned, if you're not exercising, you're ingesting different foods, fatty foods, caffeine, they can disturb your circadian rhythm, medications. So there's a lot of things that can cause you to change your sleep cycle. Shift workers have a problem with their sleep pattern. Sleep apnea. I'm just trying to clarify your question.
Let's see. Let's add you to the spotlight. I see the Delta 8 can be used for insomnia. However, my customers who are using it indicate that it is better for creativity and activity and not for sleep. Comments. So, you know, we talked about the fact that CBD, depending on your diet, depending on the severity of a condition, depending on your body chemistry, depending on so many factors, can cause you to respond differently. For me personally, and many of my customers and patients, the Delta 8 has really helped those who have insomnia that the CBD power gummies were not effective. So it has really been a great opportunity for those who weren't getting the relief they were looking for with the power or the pure gummies, and they're using the Delta 8. The Delta 8 also, in many people, will increase their creativity. I have folks that are using the CBD gummy, the Delta 8 gummy, when they want to write or when they're trying to, work on different projects. Their creativity has really been improved. So it really depends on a lot of factors, meaning your chemistry, your weight, your diet, on how these products will be affecting you personally. So that's a great comment. So Erica Zachary says Delta 8 helps me sleep. Your Delta 8 is just, I've been using a quarter of a Delta 8. I'm very sensitive to THC. There's some people who have to eat a quarter of Delta 8. And then there's others that are eating one whole Delta 8. Again, we have our recommended dosing on the bottle, and it's recommended to start with a quarter of a gummy and then increase that the next night if needed. What products are good for women in menopause? All of our products are great for women in menopause. And the reason being is that CBD works on the endocrine organs. They work on hormone homeostasis. They're working on symptoms that will assist with those who have menopause, symptoms of vaginal dryness, symptoms of hot flash, mood swings, anxiety, depression. You know, CBD can address all of that along with your diet. You got to take sugar and dairy out of your diet if you're menopausal. Absolutely, without a question. You got to start getting mobile, active, being, you know, it's warmer out. So getting able to do those weight bearing exercises, swimming, bicycling, or walking. Because we know in menopause, we have a lack of estrogen, which causes osteoporosis. And so it's a whole host of other things us women have to do during menopause. If you're a lightweight like myself, a quarter of a quarter of a quarter is the best way to go. Absolutely, CBD 101. Erica says she takes a quarter of a Delta 8. That's all she needs. She has to watch it when she takes it because I've slept longer than intended. I wake up feeling very rested. And that's the whole goal. You know, the quality is very important, the quality of sleep, as well as the hours. But if you are getting quantity and not quality, then it's going to, you know, just setting you back. It's not going to help your immune system. It's not going to help your overall wellness and your overall mood as well. So these are great questions. No dairy during menopause. You shouldn't take dairy in, period. Dairy is, like I tell people, it has very little nutritional value, a lot of sugar. Dairy is just not good. I haven't had dairy in years, except sometimes if I eat a pizza. But I try to limit dairy to almost non-existent. It's my personal thing. I limit alcohol. I may have one cocktail or two a year because, you know, alcohol is a neurotoxin and I want to keep all my neurons and my brain clear. And so sugar and dairy is something you want to take out of your diet. My husband asks, is relaxation just good as sleeping? Dr. Crawford?
What was that question again?
Is it okay just to be relaxed, or is it important to sleep? Is the question.
Well, to go through the whole sleep cycle, the stages is about, I know I came in late, about 90 minutes. And so, and we're going through that cycle a couple of times in the evening. So, and you're getting the light sleep and the deep sleep. And so your heart rate lowers and your muscles relax. So you, in my opinion, you would need to get sleep because you're not full, your brain is kind of always alert. And so we need time to repair ourselves, is in my opinion.
Yes,
So,
we're going to go back to the study on the rats. Rats live around 2 to 3 years, but if you deprive a rat of sleep, REM sleep, they'll live for 5 weeks. You deprive a rat of all stages of sleep, they'll survive 3 weeks. So we can't do that study on humans because we would start killing off people. So we did it on rats. And that shows you that sleep is imperative. Relaxation is good, but you've got to get sleep. You've got to get quality sleep. And you've got to get sleep that's going to really help you, one, your immune system reset itself. Two, it's going to give you energy the next day. And three, it's going to improve your mood. It's going to improve your overall wellness because we find that those who are sleep deprived have an increased incidence of diabetes, hypertension, stroke, obesity, Parkinson's, dementia. There's a whole list of data that shows if you do not sleep and you don't have quality sleep, it puts you at risk of chronic illnesses. So none of us want that. When I figured out that, I was like, oh my God, This is so unhealthy, the profession we're in. It's so unhealthy, right? And I look at a lot of my colleagues that are older than me. I'm going to be 60 next year, but they're in their 80s, 70s, and they're in nursing homes. They have Alzheimer's. They have early and late stages of dementia. And when I saw that, Dr. Crawford, I get myself in the bed. People don't think I sleep, but I sleep 7 to 9 hours with my CBD, getting restorative REM sleep, quality sleep. And that's what I do, because I have seen the repercussions of what life looks like just in the medical industry of folks not sleeping. It's not pretty, and I don't want that to happen to me or to you or to your loved ones or to your family. So get on the CBD. CBD is going to help that circadian rhythm stay in homeostasis. It's going to help it stay in balance. It's going to help so many other things that you may be dealing with: anxiety, depression, stress, weight management, all of these things, pain, inflammation, all of these things. It's like a vicious cycle, right? You got to address one so the other one gets better and stays in balance. Yeah, so the gummies help you get to sleep and stay asleep so that you can have that restorative REM sleep and that quality sleep, right? Because they say many children and adults spend most of their time in stage 2. We don't want that, right? Stage 2 is that early stage. We want to keep you in that late stage at REM sleep. So those gummies will help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and to wake up like so refreshed. You want to get the tinctures. You want to get the tinctures so that you have a steady state of CBD in your bloodstreams for the whole day. You want to get the topical pain, because if you're having any inflammation or pain, you want to address that with our topical products, right? So again, that's why I showed the Father's Day package, right? Because the Father's Day package has everything in it that you need. Let's see if I can find it. Any other questions or comments?
There's a Q&A question. Which tincture gummy is the strongest or works best for inflammation and pain?
Well, our most potent gummies now are our Delta 8s. But if you are looking to start CBD, I always say start low and slow. So start with our Power. Our Power 25 milligram gummy is great if you don't have random drug screens, or our Pure, which are 60 milligrams of CBD.
There's a question about CBD and chemotherapy. Um, I would probably refer that to the specialist regarding that, because it all depends on why are you taking the chemotherapy. Dr. Rita, do you have any other thoughts?
What was the question? I was looking for.
Can this product be taken if on chemotherapy?
Well, yeah, you'll have to discuss your with your oncologist, because there are different chemotherapies that could potentially interact with CBD. So you want to speak with your oncologist first before starting CBD. Same thing goes true if you are under a doctor's care, you're on multiple medications. You always want to discuss with your physician, because you don't want that medication that you could potentially be on increase its effectiveness or be decreased by the CBD. Great question. Any other questions?
Dr. Rita, I can pull up that info on the Father's Day gift from the
Yeah, if you could.
website. Sure.
so we can show everyone that everything they need is in the Father's Day package. The gummies, the tincture, the topical, and the smokable.
And there's a little extra
Yeah,
K.
yeah. You get a KOJ gummy if you're the first 100. So there it is. $195.75 is the retail price. You're getting it for $119.95. If you are a business partner, you will be getting 80 CVs with that purchase. So this is a great opportunity to get all of these very, very amazing products in one bundle for a savings. Thank you, Kathy. So you don't need to be a father just to purchase this product, this package. You can be someone that is on the line tonight that suffers from insomnia, that suffers from sleep disturbances, that suffers from inflammation, that suffers from pain, anxiety, stress. You know, tonight I was asked to do this presentation on sleep. But these products, again, when we look at CBD, can address so many challenges that we all face in our daily lives. You know, if it stems from a chronic illness, or if it stems from something acute that you're going through, you know, we all go through something at some time or another, which can be addressed by a holistic, organic way, and that is with CBD products. So Marilyn says this session has been extremely helpful since many of my customers, including myself, have sleep issues, and now I know to recommend tinctures, gummies, and pain products to get the quality of sleep desired. Absolutely, Marilyn. I'm glad that you got it. That means that I was somewhat clear. Yes, you want to use all of these products together because we know that there are so many different reasons why we can't sleep. Many of the reasons is stress, anxiety, pain, that we can't sleep, so those products will address that. Okay, to close us out, if someone wants to unmute themselves, give a testimony on how these products have helped them sleep, you can. If not, we want you to connect with the person that invited you. Hopefully you are a guest and you will quickly get off the line and call the person that invited you so you can get your next steps, which are ordering the products so that those products can get to you in a very timely fashion. And again, if you're a business partner, these are great, great gifts to give for those that you know that do suffer from insomnia. Any testimonies out there as it relates to sleep? You can unmute yourself and have at it. Dr. Betty, it looks like you have a guest on the line. Someone said, thank you so much for inviting.
I'd like to do a little share real quick. So I recently had a customer who was dealing with some sleep issues, had problems with shift work, but also had been, seeing my stuff on Facebook. And then she saw one of the
Shift
church
work. They were
members,
having trouble sleeping.
selling the products too. And
Changing
just
shifts.
one of the things that we want to remember is not having the stigma, the negative stigma of using CBD products. And once she got I asked her questions about the CBD, and she took half of gummy, and she texted me the next day, that morning, saying that she slept like a baby, like when the baby first has their first bottle of cereal.
That's good sleep.
So that's good sleep.
That's good sleep. When that baby finally sleeps all night, I love it. Oh, wow. That's really great. I love getting testimonies. I love that the fact that our products are they're so impactful in so many people's lives. You know, when we think about sleep, some people may not think it's a big deal, but that's a really big deal if you can't sleep. You know, you feel awful all the time. You're not very nice to be around. And then down the line, it starts to then create other chronic illnesses that can be life threatening. So, sleep is imperative. Please get your sleep, get more quality sleep. That's what we're talking about. Because a lot of people will tell you they sleep just fine, but ask them about the quality of their sleep, right? That is where the difference is. And that's how CBD can help as well. So if there's no further questions, no further testimonies, no further comments, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for, were you going to say something, Dr. Betty?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So let me just do a quick share. I have a friend who recently had a CVA or a stroke, and she was having some difficulty with as well as as well as in her legs. And so I shared dummies with her, and she was so excited to get a good night's sleep that she is now using not only our gummies, but also Hempranium 500 tincture. And she is actually going to have a party for me to share this exciting information with her friends, because people that she has talked to about the product are interested. So there you go.
Wow, that's fantastic. Look at that. You can also have a party, a sleep party. That would be fun, right? When things open up, you can even take it to the next level and have a pajama party where everybody you invite, your friends, your girlfriends, you have a pajama party and give them all a gummy and get their testimonies the next morning. That's something to think about. A PJ party. I love it. Pajama party. That's because Dr. Rita was never allowed to go to a pajama party. I had some pretty strict parents. So whenever I can go to a pajama party, it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. So that's all for us tonight. Connect with the person that invited you. If you're a guest, connect with that person so you can get your Father's Day special package. Makes sense to purchase a package instead of a la carte. If you're a business partner, please, please get those packages to those that you love. And if you are with us on tomorrow, which is Thursday, that is our millennial call. We want to really load that call up, that webinar for millennials, because they are generation stress, right? And so we want to make sure they have this information as well. Those Gen Zs and millennials, Thursday night, you can ask the person that invited you tonight for that Zoom link. Thank you, Dr. Crawford. Thank you, Dr. Betty. Thank you, all of our guests. Thank you, our business partners. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you, Cuzzo. He's the one that wanted to talk about this very important discussion. Thank you, Mr. Gerald West and Desi West for that recommendation. And Gigi, I didn't forget about you, because everyone is requesting different topics for me to speak about. So Gigi, I haven't forgotten your topic, which we'll talk about next week. So have a good evening, be well, be safe, and get a good night's rest, the type of rest that's restorative. Good night.
Good night.